get that rhythm and flow. Rhythm and flow. She got that rhythm and flow. Rhythm and flow. Let me hear that rhythm and flow. Radio show. The time has come for me to turn up. The time has come for you to run up. She got that radio, hit the burn up. That inspiration, hit your sternum. Got that international cheer. Peace and love with care. Cover all that's there. Total love affair. We cover the game from the top to the news. Celebrity drama, political trauma. The season of sports from basketball courts in the nation. Donation, support whenever you go, wherever you listen. Knowing how you do it, she always glisten. I'm telling you, we gotta get it right. So tune in, baby, right now tonight. She got that rhythm and flow. Rhythm and flow. Gotta get that rhythm and flow. Rhythm and flow. She got that rhythm and flow. Rhythm and flow. Let me hear that rhythm and flow. Radio show.
This is Lenny Williams.
And this is Katie Lowe.
And I enjoy listening to intellectualradio.com.
And welcome to Rhythm and Flow.
I want to welcome you to the house that Earl built, the #1 internet radio station, intellectualradio.com, an iHeart radio station with over 70 shows, 70 to 150 hosts and co-hosts, streaming 24/7 on your smart device with internet access. I want you to know that I am big and beautiful. I am fat. Oh, but I'm fabulous. I'm plump and I'm pretty. I'm getting curvy and I've always been cute. But most important, I'm confident. I'm the boss lady of Rhythm Flow Radio, your host, Katie Lowe. We have a great show lined up for you today with trending topics, hot topics, media topics, and great independent artist music. Hey, Roy Spears, I know you're not listening, but I'm going to say hey anyway. We got some trending topics out there that are trending hard and heavy. And Chicago is always full of music. I mean, full of talent. Did I say that? Should have said full of musical talent. It's a city where there are a lot of talent. Some of the talent may not have not been born here, but for some reason they migrated here. And what a wonderful place to be. Oh, I forgot to say this. Somebody posed a bill. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna play three songs from artist from Atlanta. I think she's from Atlanta. Her name's Tony Red. I'm gonna play three of her songs, but I want to give you some food for thought. I want to give you something to think about. Chicago is not the capital of Illinois. The capital of Illinois is Springfield. Chicago, I believe, is the largest city in Illinois by population. So what if they decided to make Chicago its own state? What if they decided to take Chicago, separate it from Illinois, and make it its own state? Now, what would that do? What would they do? Would that be kind of crazy or what? I mean, hey, it's out there. Somebody has I guess written a bill, and I guess they have opposed it to Springfield. Excuse me, I heard it was some Republicans who did it. I didn't want to say that, but that's who I heard wrote the bill, and they want to separate Illinois, Chicago from Illinois. I heard that it's because Chicago is a sanctuary city. And I heard, oh, let me get a drink of water. Oh, excuse me. I had a cough. Thank you. Anyway, they want to take Chicago and make it a separate city. So, what are your views on there? Google it. It's on the internet. You can read all about it. What it will do is take money away from Chicago. Even though, do you know it is against the law for the government to withhold fundings from a city just because it's a sanctuary city. That's already been proven and already gone to court. So why they want to do this, I don't know. I have to read further into it, but check it out. How they want to make Chicago. I guess that'll give us 51 cities, 51 states, because I think we have 50. So making Chicago a sanctuary, I mean its own state, or we'll have 51 states instead of 50. That's floating around out there and they're not playing with it. They're kind of keeping it quiet. They're not really talking about it. But this is one of the things that they want to do. You know, they like to change everything. Nothing works. Okay. So now that I've said that, we're going to feature our first artist. Her name is Tony Red. I believe she has her feet planted down in Hotlanta. I'm going to play you 3 songs by her. She has a real soulful voice. And I always say she sings good stepping music. So I want you to enjoy the sound. We'll be back after these 3 songs. And we're going to talk about our first hot topic that's trending on Facebook. Enjoy the music.
Are we really sure? Can a love that lasted for so long still endure? Do I really care? Let's talk about the distractions going on elsewhere. I keep hearing footsteps, baby, in the dark. Oh, in the dark. Why? I keep hearing footsteps, baby, in the dark. Oh, in the dark. Oh, in the dark, baby. Hey, footsteps in the dark. Yeah, footsteps in the dark, baby. Footsteps in the dark. My mind just now and then looking down dark corridors and wondering what might have been. Saw things up ahead. Should I keep that same direction or go back instead? 'Cause I keep hearing footsteps, baby, in the dark. Oh, in the dark. Ooh, why? I keep hearing footsteps, baby, in the dark. Oh, in the dark. Who feels really sure? Can this feeling guarantee your happiness? Sharing do we really care? Hey, hey, let's look at what's been happening and try to be more aware. 'Cause I hear footsteps, baby, in the dark. Oh, in the dark. Ooh, why I keep hearing footsteps, baby, in the dark. Oh, in the dark. Honey, let's start walking around. Cause there's lots of love to be found. Oh, honey, you know I still care, I still care. What's the sense of going elsewhere? You know I still care, I still care. Oh, really sure I still care. Looking down the corridors, I'm wondering what old
Did you stop it yet? I want you to delete it and just start it over. Okay.
I can still see your face, hear your voice, feel your body next to mine. The way that you love me, baby, takes me to another time. Why did you take me to the skies just to drop me on the ground? You are an angel in my eyes, a gift I found. So angel, baby, don't go too far. Angel, baby, stay here with me. Angel, baby, don't go too far. Take good care of this body. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Still I keep on and keep on wishing that I'll see you once again. I know that I must be crazy, wanting you like this again. If the heaven here on earth is next to you, and time only lets me know the word of loving you, so angel, baby, don't go too far. Angel, baby, stay with me. Angel, baby, yeah, don't go too far. Take good care of this love. Take good care of me. If there's heaven here on earth, it's next to you, and time only lets me know the word of loving you. So, angel, baby, don't go too far. Angel, baby, stay with me. Angel, baby, yeah, don't go too far. Angel, baby, stay here with me.
The awesome sounds of Tony Red, girl from down in Hotlanta, making great music. Hey, I want to welcome you back to Rhythm Flow Radio on the number one internet radio station, intellectualradio.com and iHeart Radio Station. Hey, where we will play your music. In order to get your music played, listen, I'm not being funny. Do not send me music through Messenger. Number one, it takes too much time to try to get that music into an MP3 form. So if you want music to be played on the platform, you need to send the music to intellectualradio.com. I believe that's the email address. It's intellectualradio@gmail. Okay. If you want the music played in rotation, you need to send that music to intellectualradio@gmail.com. It must come in an MP3 platform. Am I correct? Please do not send videos for us to go and look up on YouTube. Do not do that. Don't send me something to go look up in SoundCloud. If you actually want the music played, send it in MP3 form to intellectualradio@gmail.com. Okay. Back to the music. Before I do my first hot topic, there's one other song that I'd like to play by Tony Red, and that song is Two Birds, One Stone. Please enjoy the music, and I'll be back with the first hot topic. And guess what? We're going to talk about cannabis today. Be back in a moment.
Back in a wide open space,
Tony Red.
some things never change. Like birds of a feather, all just soar together. This is our time and our place, timeless, no age. We sparkle like diamonds, forever climbing. And when I fell from the sky with a broken wing, you rushed to my side to reach the sting. Two birds, one song, swirling like laughing like I said we'd be only friends, but love has no limits. It just pulls you in it. I looked in your eyes cautiously over time. I believed that birds of a feather all to soar together. 'Cause when I fell from the sky with a broken wing, you rushed to my side to ease the sting. two birds, one stone, swirling like rivers, laughing like children, no longer alone. Come soar with me, we'll blaze the open sky, sparkle like diamonds in the night. Two birds, one stone, we'll blaze the open sky. Two birds, one stone, we'll blaze the open sky. Two birds, one
The amazing sounds of Tony Red. You can buy that music on iTunes. And look, her name is spelled ToniRedd. Two birds with one stone, Angel Baby, and Footsteps in the Dark. There's another song I'm going to play for you by her before I leave. But I wanted to bring those three out first. So, hey, support independent music. Again, you can get your music played on this platform. All you have to do is send that mail in MP3 form to intellectualradio@gmail.com. Music must be radio ready. And you know what? Because we are intellectual radio, and this is Rhythm Flow Radio Show, we don't really need that salacious music. We don't need anything that is degrading to women or to men or children. We need nice, clean music. I mean, there are rap lyrics out here, and the music and the lyric to the track is awesome. So every other word doesn't have to be you know what. But if you have good, clean, radio ready music, like I say, send it to intellectualradio@gmail.com. Okay. The first thing that I want to talk about that's trending, I believe it was, what was that, Saturday, or I believe it was Saturday. And Saturday was, make sure I got the date right. Yeah, Saturday. It was called National 420 Day. So if you don't know what National 420 Day is, it's a time to celebrate, to grow and accept the healing pleasures of weed. Now, wow, that was really something. The healing pleasures of weed. And you know, when I thought about this, I guess I paid no attention to National 420 Day. I think it started about about 4 years ago when they first legalized marijuana for medical use. So, you know, they want you to accept it. They want you to educate yourself and learn about it, because, you know, some people say, oh, it's just a reason to get high. But I want you to know that cannabis can be used for healing purposes. And I believe when you get a cannabis card, I don't believe they just turn you loose in the cannabis store. I believe they educate you, you know, because I've always heard that different strands do different things. And all strands, like say if you got a migraine, one strand may not work for you. So you have to go and try another one. A lot of people think that it's just you give them a card, they go in the store and they run wild. No, I believe that they give you an education about cannabis. And even Saturday was National 420 Day. They had celebrations all over the city. They had them in Oak Park, up north, everywhere. I even heard they had some where I wasn't there, so I can't guarantee you where they just went out and smoked. Okay. But I think that's something like National Smoke Day. But National 420 is about celebrating and growing to accept the healing pleasures of cannabis. And speaking on that, did you know that some people with money, of course, are opening up cannabis shops like people have opened up a wine store, a wine vineyard. They're getting off into it. And your A-listers are getting off into it. People like Whoopi Goldberg. Man, I'm probably sure Willie Nelson has a big old weed farm, cannabis farm somewhere. I'm quite sure he grows a lot of weed. But the stars are getting off into, they're setting their sights on owning a cannabis farm where they can grow their own cannabis. Boy, if they like to get high off their own cannabis. Because I believe, like in California and stuff, it's like it's good. I mean, you can buy it for recreational use. Here in Chicago, I think it's just for medical purposes. But a lot of the A-listers, a lot of your stars are investing money in having owning a cannabis farm. I don't want to say marijuana, cannabis farm. Okay, it's considered close to owning a country wine vineyard. Buy you a piece of land, get educated, get your business license, and have you a cannabis farm. I guess they're raising everything else, but why not? But that's one of the things that's trending. And another thing since I'm talking about weed, I also hear, I read an article a while back, but I read some recently where the mayor, it's not the mayor, I take that back, the governor of the state of Illinois, they're getting ready to introduce a bill to make this thing recreational. It's that might be a bad habit. But let me tell you, Illinois revenue stinks. And it's because they have a lot of crooks, but the revenue stinks. Illinois is known in Chicago, should I say Chicago, the county of Cook, where they are known. I just call Chicago an outright pimp. Chicago, instead of being known as a windy city, it should be known as the city that pimps. County can be added into that too. And that's because every time Chicago has a problem, who do they pimp? They pimp the citizens, the residents. They pimp you. Now, how do they pimp you? Listen, all these years you've gone to the grocery store and you bought groceries and you did not pay for a bag. They gladly gave them to you. And if you wanted some extra ones, they would double and triple them for you. Now, every bag that you pay for, they get a part of that money. So that's another way of pimping. They might not look at it that way. Them red light cameras, that's a pimp. I mean, they needed them in some areas, but they put the red light cameras, and then, hey, what about all the parking now? I mean, some of the neighborhoods, do you know people have to pay to park? That's another way of pimping us. Taxes. I believe it's the state of Illinois that has the highest taxes. And if you think You pay your government, they pimp us too, but you pay taxes on everything. If you win the lottery, before you get that money, you're going to pay taxes. But guess what? Put that money in the bank. Let it earn, put it in some kind of special account that's going to grow you some income. You don't want to put it in nothing that's not paying any dividends, but you want to put it in some kind of account where you can reap from it. But guess what? Even though you pay the tax, say you win 400, what is it, million? You gonna pay the taxes on that. Put the money in the bank to make grow. The money starts collecting dividend and starts to grow, or you invest in the stock market, whatever you do. You're gonna pay taxes again. Take some of that money and go to the grocery store. You're gonna pay taxes. Buy some gas. You're gonna pay taxes. I don't care what you do. You're gonna pay taxes. Okay. So if they come up and make cannabis legal for recreational use, within 2 years, I believe Chicago would be out of that. I really do. I really believe that they would be out of debt. I believe that the financial status of the city of Chicago would totally different. And don't mess around and bring what they call that thing, one of those casinos here. It's going to really make a difference in the revenue. So, hey, they need to get smart. I mean, people buy weed. People buy weed illegally, or should I say cannabis illegally. But the cannabis store probably right now is making up lots of money. I was riding down Western one day. Haven't been over that way in a long time. Almost had an accident. I got to Ogden and Western, and right there, sitting in the intersection almost, is the biggest cannabis store I've seen. Now, I've seen some tiny ones, but this one is huge. Boy, it looked like you could go up in there and have lunch, have coffee, and enjoy your cannabis. So it's a thing that they really need to do. Too bad that they couldn't celebrate that on 420. The legalization of recreation of marijuana. What if they could have had celebrated that in all 50 states? Man, that would really be something to celebrate. Okay, that's one of the things that's trending. Okay, we're going to play some music by another artist. And then we're going to be back and talking about, there's a couple other topics that are trending on Facebook. We thank you for logging on. And remember that you're listening to Rhythm Flow Radio on Intellectual Radio and iHeart Radio Station. And this music is by none other than, let's play some Lenny Williams music. And we'll be back in a moment. Enjoy the music.
For 13 long years, we had a lot of laughter and we shed a few tears. Now you got your husband, girl, and I got my wife, but we promised to be true to each other for the rest of our lives. Now I met a man a few hours ago. We shared some beers down by the liquor store. He got drunk and started talking about his love life. He said some things that made me feel like I've been stuck with a knife. Hey, you've been cheating on cheating, girl, I know that it's true. You've been cheating on cheating, he know all about you. You've been cheating on cheating, girl, I wanna know why. He quoted word for word the sexy things you say. He knew every detail of the naughty games you play. My heart just stopped and I turned blue when he started talking about your secret tattoo. The more he talked, the more things came into view. I realized that he was married to you. I can't believe you gave your husband what was mine. This pain in my heart will last for all time. You've been cheating on a cheating girl, I know that it's true. You've been cheating on a cheating, he know all about you. You've been cheating on a cheating girl, I wanna know why. Oh baby, you've been cheating on me with your husband. Why you do it, babe? Why you hurt me like that, baby? Now I'm so mad, girl, I don't know what to do. If we were married, I'd divorce you. But it's okay, I will survive. Cause like you did with your husband, I've been cheating with my wife. Hey, you've been cheating on me, cheating, girl, I know that's true. You've been cheating on me, cheating, he knew all about you. You've been cheating on me, cheating, girl, I wanna know why. Oh, why? Why you cheat on me, baby? Oh yeah, you've been cheating on me, cheating on a cheating girl. Hey, 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 what did you do, baby? Hey, you've been messing with my mind. Oh girl, all this time you've been lying. Hey, I wanna know why. Oh baby, why'd you do it, girl? Cheat on me like that. With your husband, you've been cheating on me, cheating with your husband, girl. Why did you cheat on me, baby? You've been cheating on me, cheating on me, cheating, girl. Oh, why you cheat on me, baby? Cheating, girl. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. She walked in the club, real short skirt, low cut blouse, perfume smelling real loud, red lipstick, long fingernails. She got on the dance floor, started shaking her tail. We started to dance, she invited me to her place. As soon as we got there, she started kissing my face. I'm just a man, I couldn't resist. I never thought it would turn out like this. In love with your mama, she looked so young. She kept on showing me that ring in her tongue. Oh, I'm sorry. In love with your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. In love with your mama. She was dancing like them girls in the videos, bending all over, touching her toes. She was doing the Tootsie Roll. I hate to tell you, your mama was working that pole. She shaking to the left, hey, she shaking to the right. Oh, your mama shook that big thing of hers all night. I'm just a man, I couldn't resist. I never thought it would turn out like this. In love with your mama, she looked so young. She kept on showing me that ring in her tongue. Oh, I'm sorry. In love with your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. In love with your mama. Hey, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Your mama's sexy, sexy as can be. Yes, I did your mama, but she also did me. I don't mean no disrespect, but look at this hickey monkey your mama put on my neck. Hey, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Hey, I'm sorry. Please don't cut me. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Listen here. It was dark in that place. She kept kissing my face. So dark I could not see. Please don't be mad at me. Her kisses made me weak. Hey, your mama's such a freak. Oh, I tried to resist. Didn't know it would turn out like this. Hey, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Hey, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Hey, I'm sorry. Didn't know it was your mama. Hey, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm doing fine. If anybody asks you, I'm okay. If anybody's checking, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, 'cause I'm okay. Yeah, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Up early, it's a brand new day. Sunlight beaming through the window shade. A cup of coffee with a morning kiss. Enjoy myself today. On the top of my list, ain't nothing on TV. I don't need the blues, so I grab the keys. Time to take the cruise. Windows down as I roll in the jag. Not bad from a black boy who thought he'd never have win fine. If anybody asks you, I'm okay. If anybody's checking, don't you worry about me. Don't worry about me, 'cause I'm okay. I'm okay, yeah, I'm okay. I click the switch, and what do you know? They're playing my music on the radio. There's no need for my head down. I ain't got no regrets. I sung in its stages, and I gave it my best. I got a good woman who loved me through the years. 35 and counting, and we're still here. Don't worry about me, better worry about you. It's not how you start, it's how you see it through. I'm doing fine. If anybody asks me, I'm okay. If anybody's checking, I try to live right, save a little cash, and I pray every day and night. I two-step for the love, I two-step for my life, I two-step for the Lord, yeah. I two-step with my wife, two-step for the music, like a soul train line. If anybody asks you, you can tell them that I'm doing fine. If anybody asks you, I'm okay. If anybody's checking, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me, 'cause I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. Throw your hands up in the air.
All right. I want to welcome you back to Rhythm Flow Radio. on the number one internet radio station, intellectualradio.com, an iHeart radio station with over 70 shows, 70 to 150 hosts and co hosts, streaming 24/7 on your smart device with internet access. Well, there's another thing. Let's see, another topic that was trending out there on Facebook. I guess everybody, I know you all remember, everybody remembers the movie Boys in the Hood. Well, that Boys in the Hood was directed by director John Singleton. Well, John Singleton was hospitalized after he suffered a stroke. Now, this was confirmed on a statement from his family, and from what they're saying is that he was already at the hospital. I guess he was there because he was there for a maybe a visit to the hospital when this happened. So that's a great thing because I hear people talk about what is it, stroke and heart attack. Because I'm not a medical person, I'm not a doctor, not a nurse. Have a few of them running around somewhere in that Low Williams family, but I'm still not one. But it's all about timing. From what I hear, that if you have a stroke or a heart attack, and you get emergency treatment in a timely manner, a lot of people recover 100%. Some people don't. But John Singleton is a nominated, a Grammy nominated. Let me make sure I got this right. Is he Grammy nominated or a Oscar Academy? Yeah, got to get that right. Got to separate the music from the movie. Okay. But he is like I say, Oscar nominated. Well, he received the Oscar for nominated for the best original screenplay for the film. I believe it was Boys in the Hood in 1991, in which at that time he was the youngest director to be nominated in both of these categories. Like I say, he had a stroke on Wednesday while he was already at the hospital, and he's currently in intensive care. So we definitely need to pray a prayer for him. Singleton is known for classic films including Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, Shaft, and who can forget Baby Boy. He became the first African American to be ever nominated for Academy Award for Best Director Film, Boys in the Hood. And like I say, he also received it for Best Original Screenplay. So please say a prayer for John Singleton. One other thing, this will be the last topic we're going to talk about. I really thought this was a April Fool's joke, because when I noticed that there was an article about Lady Gaga, I'm like, she's a very talented person and very creative. I think she's one very, very creative. And hey, she can sing. She's got a wonderful voice. But there's always controversy in any and everything you do. But Lady Gaga is the star in the remake of the 70s classic Mahogany. I already got somebody saying no. No. but I was like, when I saw this was April 1st, like I say, and that's why, I come in, I didn't say anything about it. So I wanted to see how long it was going to go around. So I followed it. And I found out it was not an April Fool's joke. And I'm like, I'm trying to sit around and figure out how she gonna be mahogany. I mean, all I gotta say is if they didn't want Idris, is his name Idris Elba to be James Bond, why in the hell you think we want Lady Gaga to be mahogany? Come on, be for real. There's some sisters out here. I mean, if you really want somebody to play it, get Diana Ross's daughter. Who could play it better? Okay? But Lady Gaga? But you know what? This is America. That's why when you watch biblical pictures on TV, you don't see us. You do not see us. Because, hey, they take the roles. I mean, you would really, it's almost time for me to get off here. But remember, listen, you would think that back during that time, there were no black people. You really would. And anybody that reads the Bible know better than that. I just can't understand it. Hey, as they say, this is America. What more can I say? We live here and we know things happen. So on that tip, don't get upset when black people are misportrayed in mainstream media. They use their media to reflect their views. So we should build our black media to reflect ours. And that's right here at Intellectual Radio. I want you to remember that. Remember, if your favorite show is Dana being Dana, the Drive at 5, he said, she said, J-Spot, Joe Jakin, Making Waves with Miss Darcy, or Here's to the Life, or Rhythm Flow Radio. They are everywhere, accessible anywhere at any time. You can always check in on your favorite show on intellectualradio.com, wherever you are, at home or on the other side of the world. And all I got to say, today is Tuesday. And you know how I feel about that. I believe that, can't find my son. Okay. I believe that everybody's weekend starts on a different day. See, if you're off on Thursday, your weekend might be Friday and Saturday because those might be your off days. So today is Tuesday, and if you're off on Wednesday and Thursday, that could be your weekend. So I leave you with Shirley King and say, hey, enjoy your weekend. Rhythm Flow Radio on intellectualradio.com.
Just got off of work and I just got paid. Looking forward to the parties I can hardly wait. Been waiting for the weekend like a holiday. Working all weekend now, I'm ready to play. Tonight is a party, are you ready to go? Ready to go. We're gonna let our hair down to the floor. If you don't want to party, you can hit the door. We're gonna take our body down and move the road. It's the weekend. Me and my friends gonna drink all the juice and gin. It's the weekend, we're here to start a day. It's the weekend. Me and my friends gonna light up the bar again. It's the weekend, I'm gonna party, baby. Now it's time to party, leave your worries behind. Got your party to the beat and everything will be fine. Don't worry about my rent and how the bills is so high. Just living for the weekend, let me tell you why. Tonight I'm gonna get it started and that's the show. Gonna wear this mini skirt and take it to the floor. If you don't wanna party, you can hit the door. Cause we're gonna take my body down and move the road. It's the weekend. Me and my friends, drink all the juice and gin. It's the weekend will get started, baby. It's the weekend.
You go.
Me and my friends gonna ride out the car again. It's the weekend, I'm gonna party.
Okay. Bring me that tablet, boo. Huh? We all good. Huh?